for the World Bank funded projects at the International Training Center of the ILO in Italy in 2008. He was part of the team that worked on detailed project report for National Innovation Program for India in 2008 and also
at the outset, I thank Bhilai and the entire BIT fraternity who have assembled here and also put together such a beautiful conference which should encourage other idea labs to take the pattern and conduct the next idea lab conference in a befitting manner. So we have set a bar and we would expect that this gets repeated year after the year, and the flame of idea lab that we have built for the ICT is kept alive. There was a reference to my PhD topic, and it so happened that I used to come to this place, Bhilai, as a research scholar, and I may have passed by this college a few times. So some element of Bhilai is there in my PhD work also. Now, I'm not an academician like all of you. I'm trained as a scientist and then into technology foresight. So I think differently and play different strokes. And I hope there will be some level of excitement generated after I speak. What I've felt, having spent a few years in the education domain, is that we don't need education. We need learning. Education is an outdated concept. In our Gurus, we are only learning. The concept was of Guru and we are learning. Education is something which was introduced in just last 200 years. So education is a foreign concept to us. If you go back, it was learning, we excelled, and we commanded 1/3 of the global GDP before industrialization started happening. So that was the position we commanded in terms of economy and also academic excellence. But fortunately, the wheels have turned and we are in a situation we can bring learning back. Education by definition or by characteristic is corrective in nature. It is restrictive, it is prescriptive, and it is facilitative. And I'm sure all of you would have realized as teachers that it is corrective, restrictive, prescriptive, and facilitative. Whereas learning has to be adaptive, purposed, and prescriptive. And it is a very good development that Corona happened and we started learning. The focus shifted on learning. It will take some more time, and this particular blow that the humanity had has achieved everything. The processes in academic institutions are slow and we are not realizing, but we do get a feeling of it. We need to change. The institutions have to reinvent themselves as repositories of experience. No longer they are required as places where knowledge is there, or there are people who impart knowledge or information. So that is a change institutions must undergo. They have to be resilient, agile, because technology is developing at exponential rate. We humans move at a linear fashion, but the technology we have created for ourselves, it is developing. Education or learning has to be learner-centered. Teacher-centered is out. There is no place. One of the biggest blows on the education system, or the biggest assault of the pandemic, was not teachers, not students, not syllabus or curriculum, but classrooms. Finished. There is hardly anything left, and therefore they need to be reconfigured. And the classrooms that we actually have were supposed to cater to education, not learning. Learning happens best when the learners are heterogeneous. But in our classrooms, we group learners based on their age, not their prior learning. So this is a mismatch, and we force people to study what they are not interested in. So in a classroom, it is about 25% who actually don't need a teacher. There are 50% who are wrongly put there because they had no choice. We have such a strict candidate offering that student has no choice, no voice to actually select the subjects or the combinations. So the classroom has to go, and we need to find some better substitute. In a classroom, this was my observation at the technical development programs that we are conducting at Valedictory and many other institutes. I interacted with the participants and asked them which was the best time that you were feeling you were learning the best. And it was not the first half of the day. The excitement was at the peak in the afternoon. Unfortunately, we opened our educational institutions like our offices 9 to 5. So education is there as an offer, as a service, not really supporting learning. We have curriculum, the most boring thing that we offer. It needs to be very exciting, and it cannot happen unless we embed challenges with them. And that is not just for the students, but for the faculty also. Challenges must be there, otherwise the learning is very good. Problem solving approach. In the system that we have, we expect students to answer as we know, because the answer is already there. And the result is that we encourage copying. And imagine if we give them open-ended questions, leave it open to them. There will be no copying. It will stop. So we must think along that line and prepare people for tomorrow. What we have in our textbook prepares them for yesterday, the past. So we have to prepare in our academic institutions, and for the Amrit Kal, those who take up challenges and are prepared for tomorrow. Like education, teachers. This is a recent concept. We never had teachers in our gurukuls. If you study, you will find we had Adhyapak who would impart knowledge or information. We had Upadhyaya who would impart knowledge. We had Acharya who would impart skills. We had Pandit who will provide deep insights into the subject. We had Drishtas who would be visionaries, and Guru who would awaken the wisdom. That was the system we had. So what we have today is Adhyapakas and Guru just passing on information, and this is not working, and it will not work. The role has changed now. Your role as Adhyapak and Upadhyaya is lost to machines. So please come out of that. Become Drishtas, Pandit, Acharya and Gurus. And that's how the training of teachers also has to change. One of the funniest things that we carry and we are not able to disassociate ourselves is examinations. EXAM, examining, xeroxing ability of mind. Everybody agrees with that. Most boring thing. Nobody is benefiting out of it. Not either the student, nor the faculty, nor the university, nor the employer. But children, nobody wants to discuss it. And in exams, if a student or a person writing exam tries to copy something in the answer sheet, it is considered bad. Unfair means. What about teachers copying questions from last 5 years? So if you persist as Adhyapak and Upadhyaya, you will continue to commit this mistake. If we allow Google and ChatGPT to be used by students for the entire year, why are we stopping them in those 3 hours of exams? Next day again they are going to use it. And if you feel that students are using ChatGPT to write answers, why don't you use it to prepare questions? And this is what is required in the technical education in particular. And if you do away with examinations, you encourage creative thinking, imagination. And if you fall back expecting them to regurgitate what is already there in the books, nothing new is going to come out. They are only going to encourage copying. And unfortunately, we encourage copying from class 1 itself, making them memorize. So there are ills with our examination system also. And we are headed towards a system which is learner-centric, and it is not going to reverse so easily. The currency of education institutions in future is going to be experience, not knowledge. Because knowledge is available to all. So you as teachers have to prepare yourself to start dealing with experiences, throw open challenges to your students. You should start saying no to standing before as saying on the stage. That road is over. You should be there as mentors, guides, navigators, pathfinders. Much better roles in the hyper-connected world. Our Prime Minister, after he launched this new education policy, national education policy, he made a statement that we should promote easy and new techniques which will be the basis for new age learning. Talk about new age learning. With engage, explore, experience, express and excel as its roots, not examinations. The future of education will be flexible learning, experiential learning and personalized. This is where the world is headed to, and in some distant future we will have technologies like brain-computer interface which may make even the learning by humans obsolete. So we are headed towards that, but that's far off. But the institution like yours should embrace the change, become the change makers, leaders in the change. And Idea Lab was just one concept that we have introduced. It is not a lab. It is an ideology, it is a mission, it is a movement, and needs to be replicated in different forms. So we are very lucky to have one Idea Lab which has the potential to change the technical education of this country. Thank you very much.